Okay, also wanted to talk about this one here. This was our other missed question. In the standard XY coordinate plane, what is the vertex of the parabola with this equation? I'd say the easiest way to do this problem is to just type this equation into Desmos and click on the vertex to see what the number was. So the number is -1, -4. That is your best way of solving this problem. So remember, the vertex is that top turning point. Cool. All right, our review is done. We're gonna move into notes today. I'm gonna go ahead and go over what our notes looks like, what our assignment looks like here. So I'm gonna go to assignment 12. If you guys could also navigate to assignment 12, or I can also put the link here in a second. Go ahead and head to this link here. This is assignment 12. And I want to go over it because we're going to be pretty self-paced today. I can do some of the notes, but I want to make sure that you know what you need to do. All right, so assignment 12, if you have not yet loaded it, looks like this. Kind of looks like a rainbow or like a unicorn threw up on my page. So I want to explain what each of the sections is so that you know exactly what you need to do. So if you are ACC or honors, you are just following the directions for the whole page. You're just going through. There are 5 different parts. I know it sounds crazy. It's not by law. There are 5 different parts. If you are regular, that means you are not honors, right? If you are not honors, you're completing parts 1, 2, and 3, 1 through 3, and part 5. So you're skipping part 4, okay? And then if you are ****, you're doing parts 1 and 2 and 5. 1, 2, and 5. Right. So if you ever get lost, I put them up here at the top. So if you're like, wait, how many do I have to do? You just go straight up to the top and it will show you exactly what you need to do here. So here's the deal. We are going to take a small amount of notes and then do a small amount of problems, and then do a small amount of notes, and then a small amount of problems, and then a small amount of notes, and then a small amount of problems, and then a small amount of notes, and a small amount of problems, right? The reason being is because there are 4 different types of factoring that we need to review today. And I don't want us to get mixed up. I don't want us to just do all 4 types of factoring, right? I don't want us to just do the notes on all of them and then not be able to like remember any of them. So what I want you to do is we're going to do like a small portion of the notes, and then we're going to pause our video, right? And then we're going to do some of the practice problems there. Does that make sense? Can you give me a thumbs up if you're on video, or head nod? Cool. Or those orange or blue thumbs up. Awesome. Makes sense. Cool. Amelia, thanks for letting me know. You guys should be making a copy. I know you have edit access right now. Oh, you just have comment access. You don't have edit access, so you should be good to go. But just go ahead and file, make a copy. You should be good to go. Okay, and then yes, this is a great question. If you have honors and you are ****, if you're both of those things, there are a few of us, you're gonna meet in the middle and you're gonna do the regular section, right? So you're always just gonna follow the regular or the on-track instruction. That is a great question from the chat. Thank you for that question. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and open up some breakout rooms that you can choose which ones you want to go into. So I'm going to recreate all my rooms. I'm going to let you choose which room you want to go to. One of the rooms is going to be called Independent Workspace. If you go to Independent Workspace, that's just like a silent room for you to work on your own, okay? Room number 2 is going to be Talking Workspace. And I'm going to make a few of these Talking Workspaces. And this is like if you want to work with some people, but you just need like an independent space to work, you can do that here. Okay. I'm going to rename them. Do I have my TAs today? Peyton, yes. I also have a TA room. Do I have Steph as well? Yeah, hi Steph. Okay, so Peyton and Stephanie are here. They're going to be in the TA room. If you would like to go ask a question, you can totally go there and ask a question and work through a problem or two with them, or work through a lot of it with them. So there's going to be a TA room. And then I also will have a room for Miss Flores. If you like working with Miss Flores, you can pop into Miss Flores's room. So the way that this works is I'm going to open up these rooms and you're going to be able to select them. Down at the bottom, it will say breakout room, and you will actually click on the breakout room, and then you'll find the one that has what you want to do on it, and then you will go into that room and you'll press the join button when you see that. Okay, so you'll press breakout rooms, find the room that you want, and press join. You can join any of the rooms that are there. You don't have to go. And then if you don't like the room that you're in, then you can stay. Okay. Or if you don't like the room that you're in, you can switch rooms later on. You can work with me. So if you're someone who still likes to work with me, I will do part 1, and then I will give you a little bit of work time. I will do part 2, and then I'll give you a little bit of work time. And I will do part 3, and I'll give you a little bit of work time. So we'll be doing the same thing. So if you do like working with me, you're just going to ignore the breakout rooms. You don't need to go to them, right? So there are just options. All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms. You should have the option to go to a breakout room if you would like to. Can you see the option? No option. You should see it in the bottom of your screen, kind of like by the mute button. There should be something that says breakout rooms. Ashley can see it. A couple people can see it. If you can't see it yet, it's probably that you haven't updated yet, right? So it's probably that you haven't updated yet. So you'll just need to update your Zoom account in the future at some point. That is totally fine. If you would like to go to a room and you can't get there for some reason, you can't see the breakout rooms, then just let me know and I can independently put you in there as well. Joshua, I got you. So I can put you in a room. Just tell me which room you want. Just tell me which room you want. Otherwise, I will jump in. Yep, I can put you in there. Perfect. Awesome, team. I'm popping in. Awesome. Diana. Absolutely. Leslie. Thank you guys for being patient. If you're sticking around with me, you are just going to go ahead and find a piece of paper, make sure that you have that sheet of paper. All right. They don't put your names in alphabetical order, y'all, and it is kind of the worst. I don't know why they don't put your names in alphabetical order. I just have to like scan. Independent. Cool. Ben, give me a second finding you. There you are. Cool. Alan, we're not like in our individual spaces. People are choosing the breakout rooms they want. All right. Let me go ahead and make sure you have access to this. Josh, you should have access here. If you don't have access, make sure you're logged in with your Ednavy account there. But, can someone repost the attendance link for me, please? Please, please. Go ahead and repost that attendance link. Thank you. Thanks, Melanie. All right, team. I'm going to pause the screen share. Thank you for being patient. Appreciate all of you. All right. We're going to jump in here. So if you are titling your paper, you should be titling your paper with the word factoring. Factoring. That is the word that we are doing there. Perfect. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share here. Thank you, as always, for your patience, y'all. We will jump in. Josh is taking a minute, but it looks like you should be good to refresh. If you try refreshing there, it should be good. All right, my friends, let's jump in here. Let me check this chat real fast. Awesome, cool. Glad you got it, Josh. All right. We're gonna jump in with factoring. So for factoring is like when we take things and we break them into pieces, right? Take them and break them into pieces. So when we're distributing, right? When we're taking a number and we're putting it into something, we are multiplying each term, right? You can choose again what you want to write down. You don't have to write down everything. You can choose. So we are multiplying each term. When we factor or undistribute, we're taking things out, right? We're taking things out. We are technically dividing each term, right? Or we're taking out, dividing out from each term. So as we are looking to factor things out here, we're going to start with our first method, which is factoring out a common factor, right? Factoring out a common factor. Let me find this last breakout room. Yes, absolutely. Gabby, look for a bigger number though. There's also something bigger you can take out. So we want to be able to take out the biggest possible thing here. The biggest possible thing. We're going to factor out the largest possible number. We can take out a 2, right? We can take out a 2. We can also take out a 4 from 16 and from 8. We can also actually divide out an 8, right? You can divide out an 8. So I'm going to go ahead and find a number that divides out of all the different pieces here, right? So I'm going to take out the 8 from both. And then I see in the first term, I have 2 x's or x squared. And the second term, I have x, right? What do they have in common? They have 1 x in common. So I'm going to go ahead and divide an x out of both of those. So what that means is that 8x is going to go to the outside. That's what we're factoring out. And then what's left inside, I'm going to go ahead and do the math here. So 16 divided by 8 would be 2. And then x squared divided by x, we have 2 x's on top, 1 x on bottom. These cancel and leave 1 x on top. So 2x like that. I know this because 8x times 2x, 8 times 2 would be 16, x times x would be x squared. So I'm good to go there. I have a plus sign, and then 8x divided by 8x. Both of these cancel, but that means that we have 1, because 8x divided by itself, 8x would be positive 1. So this is the factored form of the 16x squared plus 8 that we started with, right? So this is what we call factored form. So we found a number or variable that divides evenly into each term. We divided that out of all the terms. We repeated that if necessary. Whatever's on the outside is the GCF, that's the 8x. And then we write the leftovers on the inside. I have to sneeze. Apparently not. Okay. So we're going to try this one here. We're going to try this next one here. So 3x minus 15x squared. 3x minus 15x squared. Take a moment. What number can we take out of both? What number can we take out of both?
3.
3, absolutely, 3. 3, we can take out 3. What letter can we take out? Yeah, x. For sure, x. Yeah, we can take out x for sure. So I can take out an x of both. Wow. Okay, come on, screen. There we go. I can take out x from both like that. Since there's only one x in the first 3x, we can't take out more than 1. I'm seeing a question in the chat. We write our notes on the document or on a piece of paper. Yeah, you can do either. So if you like typing, you can do it on the document. If you want to write on a piece of paper, you can do it on paper. Either one works for me. Cool. So 3x is going to be what we take out. So we have 3x. And then when I do 3x divided by 3x, what am I going to have left over? 3x divided by 3x. 1, absolutely 1. So I'm going to have 1 right here. Good job. And then a minus. And then take a moment. What's going to be left over there?
5x.
5x, yeah, 5x. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then x squared divided by x is 5x. Absolutely. All right. This would be the portion where I would have you pause and actually work on pause and then work on some of the problems from part 1. Since we have a little bit of a time crunch here, I want us to actually work on the X factor one. So we're gonna do the notes for parts 1 and 2, and then I'll give you some workspace or some ability to jump off if you need to work on parts 1 and 2. Okay, but since we have a little bit of a time crunch, I wanna make sure that we get to everyone. So part two. So notice in part 1, there was only 2 terms, right? There was only 2 terms. We had the 16 and the 8, and then we had the 3 and the 15. We can do GCF with as many terms as we have, right? GCF just means we're taking out something that's common for everyone. With X factor, we have done this probably many, many times in Ms. Velasquez's class, and then probably again in Mr. Ellie's class if you had each of them. But this is when we have 3 terms. We have x squared in the first one, we have 9x, or just x in the second one, and then we end with a number. So this is when we have the format x squared plus some type of x plus a number of some kind. It could be numbers in front. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look for a GCF. We're going to use part 1 in part 2, right? So we're going to look for a GCF. Is there any number that we can take out of 1, 9, and 20? Do they have any numbers in common? Not 3. If we take out 3, we could do it here, but we can't. We'd get a decimal if we did 20 divided by 3. So that 3 is not going to work. 1 is a good answer. We could take out 1 from each of them, but then it's not really going to like do anything. 9x plus 20, right? We're just going to have a 1 out here. But remember, Ones are kind of annoying. We don't really like writing them. So there doesn't seem to be a GCF, right? Doesn't seem to be a GCF. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and like move on to the next step. We're gonna identify B and C. So for this number right here, this is our B. If you imagine we have like A, B, and C, like that, then this number, the 9, is our B. This is the number that we need to add to get. And C is 20. This is the number that we need to multiply to get. All right. So we need to add to get 9 and multiply to get 20. Can anyone think of two numbers that adds to get 9 and multiplies to get 20?
Mm, 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4 and 5. Good job. 4 and 5. Sweet. So we can use 4 and 5 like this. Those two numbers multiply to get 20. 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 plus 5 is 9. So I'm going to go ahead and write x plus 4 and x plus 5. If you have a hard time figuring out all the different, like the possibilities, something that I like to do is to write down everything that multiplies to get that number. So I might do like 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3 times the decimal, so that's not going to work, 4 times 5, and 5 times 4. That all of those things multiply to get 20. The only one that adds to get 9 would be 4 and 5. So that's how I know that it's 4 and 5. Okay. So wait. All right. So we're going to try this next one. It's 2x squared minus 22x plus 60. Take a moment to write that down. And the first step is to look for a GCF. Is there a GCF from 2, 22, and 20 and 60? Is there something we can take out of each of these? Yeah, the number 2. Awesome. Thank you in the chat. The number 2, I can take out 2. All right. So I can take out 2 from each of them. So that 2 is going to come to the outside. I'm going to be left with x squared minus 22 divided by 2 would be 11x plus 60 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3 with a 0 on it, 30. Perfect. All right. So now I'm going to find my b. This is my add number and my multiply number. So I need two numbers that multiply to get 30 and add to get negative 11. Notice I took the negative with us, right? Took the negative with us. So I have here 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4 and a decimal, 5 and 6, 5 and 6. So I can see the only ones that would let me get to 11 are 5 and 6. And I need to get to negative 11. And I see in the chat that Jennifer has told me it needs to be negative 5 and negative 6. Absolutely. Negative 5 times negative 6 gives me positive 30. And negative 5 plus negative 6 gives me negative 11. Right? A negative and a negative added together is a bigger negative. So I'm going to go ahead and leave my 2 out in front. I'm gonna write my two parentheses. And I'm gonna have x minus 5 and x minus 6. And this is my factored form, my broken up form of that. You guys are doing a great job. Are we remembering this? Sort of? Yes, no, maybe so. Some people are like, yeah, I got this, miss. I got this a long time ago. I got you, thank you. Kind of remembering. Yeah, this is hard. It can be really hard. All right, let's do another one. All right, first step, we're gonna look for a GCF. Is there a number that we can divide out of each of these? 2, yeah, totally 2. 2 is the biggest number I can take out. All right, if I take out 2, I have x squared minus 46 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, so 23. 23x minus 48 divided by 2 is 24. All right, so I've got my multiply number, which is my last number. This is my multiply number, negative 24. That's what I'm multiplying to get. And my add number, which is negative 23. That's what I'm adding to get. Right? So multiplying to get negative 24, adding to get negative 23. So I know 24 is 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6, 5 times a decimal, 6 times 4, which I already have written down. So those are my options. And I need us to get to 23, right? And I know since it's negative here, one of them is going to be minus. So I'm really looking for subtraction here. So 4 and 6, that makes 10. So that's not it. 3 and 8 make 11. 2 and 12 make 14. The only option I have is 1 and 24. So I want 1 and 24. And I want negative 23. So I want 1 minus 24, like that. 1 minus 24. All right, so 1 minus 24. Those are going to be my two numbers, 1 and negative 24. So I have a 2. I have two parentheses. I have x plus 1, since it's positive 1, and x minus 24, since it was negative 24. And this is the factored version of that right there. All right. Cool. Awesome. All right. If you're star, that's the end of your notes today. Your star, that's the end of your notes. I want you to pause, take a photo, be done with it. And then you're going to move on to your assignments. You have the next hour or so as you're working through before your next class, to work on your assignment. You're doing parts 1 and 2. If you are regular, accelerated, or honors, we have one more section for my regular folks and 2 more sections for my honors folks. Honors, the last section is super duper duper easy, and I'm going to have you watch the video for it. Part 3 is probably the most complicated one, so I want us to do part 3 together. So star honors, you're going to stay with me for part 3 because you're doing regular. So you gotta stick around. All right. So part 3. These ones look very, very, very similar. Okay. These look very similar. They have, they still have the x squared, they still have the x, and they still have the number at the end. Okay. The only thing that's different is that this number in front right, is going to stick around, and that's going to make things just slightly more complicated for us. Okay, so for this one, we're still going to look for a GCF if there is one, right? So GCF, is there any number we can take out of 6, 13, and 5? Yeah, no, nothing. There's nothing we can take out. So we're going to look for that GCF. We've already done that step. We can take a 1 out, but a 1, again, is not going to change our problem. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 6 and multiply it times -5. 6 times -5 is -30. That is the number that we multiply to get. And our B is going to stay the same. It's +13 a day. Right, so one change from the last time is we're doing 6 times -5. 6 times -5. So 6 times -5 is -30. I'm going to think of the things that multiply to get 30. 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. All right, so those are the things that multiply to get 30. We need to get to +13. But we also need to have -30. So I know one of them is going to be negative because I have to get that negative when I multiply. So I could do 3 and 10, but 3 times 10 gives me +30. -3 times -10 would give me that, but that would give me 7. So 3 and 10 is not going to work out for me. I am going to use 15 and 2, and I want it to be -2. Antoine, can you talk to us about why it's -2 and not -15?
It's -2 because when you do it, how 15 minus 2 is going to give you the +13.
Yes, absolutely. If it was -15, then we'd have -13, which we might want in a different case, but we don't want that in this case. We want +13. All right. So we remember how we multiplied the 6 times the 5? Thank you, Antoine. That was a beautiful answer. The 6 times the -5. So since we got the 6 times the -5, you know how in physics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So since we multiplied the 6 in, we now need to divide that 6 back out. We're going to divide that 6 back out so that it doesn't get mixed up in our problem. And we're going to simplify. So right here, this is step 4. So we multiplied A times C, and we wrote down all the things. We found the pair that added up to B, right? Now we're going to divide it by A and simplify. So 13 divided by 6, that would be 5/2. 5/2. I'm dividing by 3 on the top and on the bottom. So this is one of my answers. I'm going to write x plus 5/2, like that. And then I'm also going to simplify this one if I can. So -2/6 dividing by 2 on top and bottom. So I get -1/3. That's going to be my other one, x minus 1/3, like that. The last step that it says here is to plug in parentheses, which we did, and move the denominators to the front. So this denominator is going to move right up here. So it's going to be 2x plus 5. And this denominator is going to move right up here. So it's going to be 3x minus 1. 3x minus 1. The good news, the reason why this works is because then 2x times 3x would give you the 6x squared, and 5 and -1 would give you the -5. The 13 comes when we do 2 times 1 and 5 times 3, 15, and 2 make 13. Okay. So this is my answer for this problem here. Right? I recognize that we don't have a ton of time, but there is a video for this one. I'm going to show you this example as well, but I'm going to go a little bit faster. So I know, you don't want me to go faster. I get it. I don't want to go faster, but if you want me to do it slow and you can pause me, you can check the video. So 2 times 6 is 12. So multiplying to get 12, adding to get 7. right? Multiplying to get 12, adding to get 7. 12 is 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Oh, 3 and 4, that's 7. So 3 and 4. Since I multiplied times 2, I now need to divide by 2. And I'm going to simplify these if I can. I can't simplify 3 halves. So I have x plus 3 halves. And then 4 over 2 simplifies to just 2. So I'd have x plus 2, like that. And then if I have anything that is in a denominator, I'm going to bump it up front. So this would be 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. Just like that. And that is my final answer. Okay. Okay. If you're a regular, you have parts 1, 2, and 3. If you are honors, you have parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your fourth one is your honors module. Shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes. So if it's taking a really long time, please let me know and I will help you out. My office hours are at 3:30 today. Please, please, please drop by. From 3:30 to 4, you can drop in anytime and I can help you out. Okay. Other than that, that is it for us today. It's 9:45. Please make sure that you're working on it during the asynchronous time so that you can go ahead and so that you can like have questions by 3:30. Email me or text me any questions you have. Otherwise, adios, my friends. Love you. I will see you next week. Have a good day. I have office hours tomorrow if you want to come. We're doing spooky trivia and then we'll do some math. So, bye guys. Bye guys. Bye. Adios. Adios. Bye. Thank you guys.
Miss.
Bye. Thank you. Bye guys. Adios. Adios. Good question, Angie. One moment. Let me grab it. The password is of the, so like OF, like that. All right. Hello.